Hey, thanks for tuning in. We got a great show for you tonight. We got John Pennisi on. You all know who John is. He's a former Lucchese soldier, and he has a show with Tom, NBA and the Buttonman, and he has sit down news. And John's a good friend of mine, and we're really excited to have him on today. So hopefully we'll have a nice discussion with John. But we're going to come back to John in a minute. We're just coming back from COVID. Nicole and I, praise God,
Yes.
and Paulie's feeling good, right, Paulie?
Yep, I'm feeling fine.
Paulie's doing good. But before we start anything tonight, I wanted to talk to you about a few things. We have some products up on the website on BobbyLuisi.com. T-shirts, cups, hoodies, baseball caps, masks, a few different things, Also, what I'm doing right now is I started a membership page on YouTube. It's only $4.99 a month. And why we're doing this is because it's very expensive for this production. We're not really looking to make money, but we'd like for it to pay for itself, wouldn't we? I think that would help. And any way you could support the show, it would be great if you went up there.
And whatnot, and I stood away. And I actually went and got a job in construction, and was on paper for 5 years, and kind of was living just a legit life, going to work, minding my business. I had come home, Bobby, and a couple of old timers grabbed me. And let me tell you, their words now is, you still see me? It says something about my internet. You see me, right?
I see you now, yeah. Yep.
Okay, good. So I should have listened to them, because a couple of old timers told me, hey kid, do yourself, keep working, stay away, because
Yeah.
when you left to go in, and now, two different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
That life then, and that life, and then this now. And one of them was a friend, and he said, go to work, listen to me.
Yeah.
Go to work, you don't want nothing to do with this, right? And of course you don't listen. So anyway, a friend of mine that I was away with starts calling for me and bringing me back out again. And that's how I get involved again. And we get into a beef and a fight with some Colombo associates, and we get the better of them. And of course they bring that back, and now they're looking for us, because they were pretty lumped up. And now they're looking for me. There's John and Anthony, the other guy's Anthony. And actually his father was a friend with that family, and he wound up disappearing. And his brother winds up killing a couple of guys that did it, and goes away for 38 years. So he is not comfortable around them either, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go back now to the neighborhood, to guys around the Gambinos, and put my tail between my legs. Well, I'm looking for help, I got a problem, when I stay away for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So what I do is I go to my childhood friend that is Vicar Musso's son-in-law, and he's a friend with the Lucchese's.
Yeah, I know who Vic
And
is.
if I don't get into the situation, what?
No, I know who Vic is.
If I don't get it, so it's his son-in-law.
Yeah.
If I don't get into this thing, I may be not even sitting here talking to you, because what I don't know is, they forget, the Colombos, they must have looked it up and seen we were away for serious crimes, and he was too. And they never come looking for us, because when I go to my childhood friend, I explain this, don't worry about it, if anybody reaches out and all of that. No one does. But now I'm back hanging around him. And now he wants to listen, forget about those Gambinos. He says, I'm going to put you with me. And then as a result of that, now he wants to bring me to his skipper. And you know how it goes from there. And then from there, I wind up going around and more and more and more. And now they right away want to not only straighten me out, they want to straighten my friend Anthony that was around the Columbus. So they kind of both take us, and that's exactly what happens. We're not even, I think inside of a year, we're straightened out,
Oh, yeah.
which is very fast.
What year was that?
And you know why? Why? Because I get straightened out in 2013.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
2013.
Hmm.
And why? Like, like Tom is a civilian in life, and he's saying, well, why do you think it was so quick? Why? I'm going to tell you why. First of all, is you don't have like, and who's out there,
No.
but you have two guys, one that did, I think Anthony did 8, and then he did another maybe 5, and I did 17 straight, and that's what they're looking at, is that these guys are capable guys, and hopefully they're money makers, and when we need guys, and we were relatively young, although I think I was 40, 41, and he was, whatever I was, 42, and he was a little older than me, but we're still in that life, we're relatively young. And they, like I said, inside of a year, we're straightened out with them. And now we're part of that crew, and we're the Brooklyn faction of the
Of the
Lucchese
Lucchese.
family, and that's our crew.
Yeah, but see,
Yeah.
like you said, what they did with you, I mean, you're talking 2013. I mean, they made some guys up here too in Boston, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about them or their character or whatever, you know.
Yep.
I'm not gonna do that. But I would say a lot of guys that just got made up here and around here and in the different families years ago when I got made, and
Yeah. Listen, they would probably say that about us too, especially me now, but that's not true as far as, look, we had a lot, they spoke to guys, a lot of guys knew us, they talked about us. But I do have to say, and I'm sure you're going to agree, that as far as the captain went, the skipper, right?
mhm.
He obviously is not an old timer, because I'm going to tell you how he gets into the life. He's locked up with the consigliere of the family, and he's an associate, and the guy is not feeling good in the can, and he tells him, no, Joe, I'm taking you to the infirmary, and the guy didn't want to go, and he takes him to the infirmary, and the guy gets a heart attack right when he walks in the door, and they said, if he didn't take you here, you would have wind up dying. So now he saves the guy's life. And when the guy gets home, he straightens him out, and then the position opens up, and he makes him a skipper. He don't belong there, and I'm going to tell you why. Why don't he belong there? Is you're supposed to keep us around. Forget about straightening us out inside of a year. Keep us around. You know what I mean? Keep us around for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And get to know us, and and watch us, and watch the way we do things, watch the way we move. And that's really what he's supposed to do. I'm not going to argue at that point, hey, I think you should wait a little while. You just want to straighten us out. But I think it's a mistake to do that without getting to, some guys are around 10, 15 years, maybe even longer, right? As associates, and then maybe they'll do something for them, but they know them. And the other mistake on my part, which I was told by guys with the Gambino, said, those are not your friends. Like, you didn't grow up like, they don't know your family. These are different guys. And that was a problem that came back to bite me later on. And that's the truth, because I didn't grow up around these guys. I don't know these guys. And it's very different. That when you come from the neighborhood where you're going with the crew in the neighborhood, it's very different than now going to, we were in Queens, and now I'm going with a Brooklyn faction with all guys from Brooklyn that I don't know. I don't know them.
Yeah, see when we straightened my crew out up here, these guys were around me for a long time. I knew the capabilities. I knew what they were like. I knew their character. There were other guys that we were going to bring in. There were some money guys, which are needed,
Yep.
But
Yep.
basically, the crew that I had around me, I knew well. You know, like Paulie and my
That's
cousin
important.
and some of the
Yeah.
other guys that were me, because I was trying to build something here. You know, if you went out on the street today, I mean, what are you going to find? Oh, this guy did 10 years. This guy might have been a piece of shit in prison. We don't know. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he could be up a guy's ass. The guy likes him.
It's,
He did 10 years. Bring him home. We're going to straighten him out.
you want to hear something funny? When we do the transition and now we have a new acting boss in there, we have a little get together and he, look what I know who he was referring to. You're going to know as soon as I say what he said. He said, listen, we're not going to just straighten guys out that maybe went and was get a cup of coffee for somebody in a can or save their life. So we know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
What's he talking about? He's talking about the guy, you know, that I'm reporting to our regime.
Yeah.
And he's right in what he was saying because he knew even he was a mistake. He knew
Yeah.
that, you know, and that's just, you know, it's a kind of a better old school mentality of saying, hey, I'd rather straighten out money guys and use those guys to create legit businesses with their money for us and we could all earn than straighten out a guy that was either pouring coffee for a guy in a can or save the guy's life. And that's exactly who he's talking about. And you know, it kind of, there was a lot of mistakes that were going on, but you know, it just, in my opinion, I think a good leader is not gonna just meet guys. I don't care if they did 20 years or 30 years, and just meet guys and inside of a year, you know, straighten them out. It's just, it's not the way that you're supposed to do things.
No, it's not.
And when people say, "Oh, well, years ago they would have never straightened you out," you're right because you wouldn't get straightened out inside of a year. They would wait and get to know you. Maybe maybe a couple of years, maybe 5 years. Some guys were around 8, 10 years, 15 years.
I know
You
a
know,
guy.
they were associates. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I did time with a Banano guy. I'm not going to say his name. Great guy. You know, I was with him for years down in Phoenix. He told me it took him 16 years to get straightened, though. He was involved in something.
there you go. My case in
You
point.
know, 16 years. Because listen, the families were built over time. You know, it had to be the
Yes.
right guys. How many button guys did they have who whacked him, who did this? They didn't make them all. They didn't make all these murderers. They didn't make all these people. They made the guys, it's like anything else, that they felt that they could control,
Yep.
they could earn, and they're going to respect. You just can't bring everybody in. But now look at the neighborhoods now. Look at East Boston, the North End, Somerville, Medford. You can't dip at these neighborhoods no more and get these kids to come up. They don't want to do it. They don't want to be involved in it.
Bobby, they would
Nobody
ask
around no
me
more.
every so often. I would get asked, "You have anybody in mind that, you know, they were looking to straighten guys out?" No. My answer was no. And not because I didn't want to help nobody, because I legitimately, there was nobody who I could say, I think this guy's made for this. Nobody. And that's,
No.
I'm talking young guys and everything. We were around a lot of, you know, guys and Met guys. I couldn't think of one.
If I went by the standards that I grew up with, I mean, I loved all my guys, then I still do. You know, I don't talk with them no more, or my family. I still love them. You know, I would still do anything for those guys. And they, you know, at that time would do anything for me. But like I said, I knew them. You know, they were with me every day. You know, we knew each other's habits. I knew what type of guys they were. I knew what they were going to do, what they weren't going to do. You know,
Yeah.
and today, just to dip into this little pool that's out here, because a guy did 10 years, or he might have shot a guy, or he carries a gun. You can't, this
No.
is not how you build a family.
No.
It's not how you build a regime.
No.
It's just not working out no more. And this is why, now look at Anthony Aralotta.
Yep.
Okay, with Adi and this creep John, and I did time with John. I know John.
Yeah, I know about that.
That Adi sending this guy, not even a May guy, an old informant in New York, and he's sending him down to Springfield over here, Massachusetts, to Anthony, to whack people, to collect envelope, whatever they were doing.
And was told about this guy.
And Adi was told about this guy. I mean, what's happening to the mob here? Listen, there's a lot of sharp guys out there. I'm not saying they're all like Adi.
Oh,
But how did this happen? and I'm with John, and I see the Gavone this guy is. He's probably dead by now.
Yeah, I think he passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did this even happen? He's telling me stories about my friend Anthony, about Carmen and all these other guys in Boston. How did this guy even sit down and have dinner with them?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they kind of like, it's like, it's a spying camp. They threw a guy in the mix, and and he's being sent down there, right, to
Yeah.
Anthony. And what's Anthony's just doing what he's doing, and they're sending him this guy, and he's dealing with him, and you're sending him, the enemy at that point. You know what I mean? He's already done, right? It's the guy was obviously, they were warned. The whole crazy thing is that they were warned.
They
And
were.
you know what I mean?
The
Like,
Gambinos won them.
yeah,
Okay.
and they were warned. And it's just and there's either this, it's either about money, or there's something behind it if you're warned about something. Usually it's money, right? Usually, you put a dollar, and somebody's saying the guy's no good. What weighs heavier? The money outweighs the bad things they're saying about him. And the guy was thinking, I don't listen to them, they don't like him. That's what they do, because the money means everything.
Well, a lot of things. I was exposed with money on the street. Even the guys that don't like me, they would tell you that. And it was never really greed with me. Like I said before, it was more power and ego, I think, that drove me rather than the money.
Yeah.
But the money was great when it came in, don't get me wrong.
Oh.
But now this isn't a money business. The mob, yeah, we make money. That's part of what we do. But the internal workings of the family is not about money. It's about structure.
Yes.
Remember, when this started, the mafia back in Italy, it was to protect the people.
Yeah.
From the Turks, the French, whoever else came in there. It was an organization to protect the people, like the IRA was, what they were trying to do with England.
Mhm.
That turned corrupt. I mean, that's what happened to it. Now you got this group of guys. What are we going to do now? And it turned corrupt like anything else does. That's last years and hundreds of years like that.
So-
but it was still structured, John. There was something there.
Yeah, I mean,
It meant something at one time.
One thing, and this is obviously has to do with my story, is the rules were put in place, and there's a reason why there's rules, right? In anything, right? Just even in a baseball game, right? There's rules of a baseball game.
Yeah.
If you don't follow the rules, well, there's no game. You know what I
Oh.
mean? There's no game. And there's reasons for rules for everything, and especially in that life, you have rules, and and I'm saying that everybody follows every rule to the T, but I mean, there's rules in place for a reason, and so in my case, here we have this guy that he gets his position because he saves a guy's life, but he saves a consigliere's life. Now, any beefs, anything with him, who's going to win that argument? He's going to win because he's got the guy in his pocket, because he saves his life. He's the guy that gets him straightened out. He's the guy that gives him the position. Yeah. So I'm in a very bad predicament with this guy, and I'm answering to him. And what happens is that the transition happens, and now he don't have that guy, and the power shifts where now I have the power, because now I have the guys that I'm close to, and I got close to, that are in these positions. And unbeknown to me at the time, his brother is also a friend, right? He's a friend. And his brother
Lucchese friend?
Yes.
Yeah.
And his brother starts screwing around with the girl I'm dating. And now he's breaking our rule. And you know what the penalty for that is, right? So with knowing this and seeing the transition and knowing that now I have the upper hand, what this guy does, and I didn't know he did it. And I always say this now because I'm in a different place now, but strategically back then I mother effed him when it all came to light. But strategically, it was a very good move that he did. And what does he do? He puts so there was like a 14, 15 guy pinch with the Lucchese's, and we kind of took out the administration and all of that. And he was on the case as well, and he got out on bail. And another old timer, Don Trasulo, he was on a case. He gets out. A couple of guys got out on bail. It wasn't too much violence, and he puts a wire on me that I am no good on that case. And I start to, you start to see things that are not like, what something's wrong, right? And I go to this other skipper's house, Dom Trasulo, and he's out on bail. And somebody, but before that, he comes over to me and another guy, and he says, there's two rats in this family, two friends that are rats. So I'm looking, but I didn't like the way he said it, the way he was coming over. He wasn't like coming over saying, "Hey, be careful," right?
Yeah.
You got to be alert and be on your toes. He was coming over making a statement. And I turn around and listen, I'm not in that place anymore. So I talk that way back then. I don't do it now. But so I said, well, why don't we find them and kill them? I mean, that's what that life was about, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's just the way it goes, that back then, right? So, and he, got all flustered. The other guy picked his shirt up, right? And left, kidding around. I took him outside and gave him a tongue lashing. I could have picked my shirt up too. I said, don't ever let him, this asshole, let you disrespect yourself. I said, because you see, John, I could pick my shirt up too. It's not about picking the shirt up. Right. Don't, you're getting crazy. I'm only kidding around. I said, that's not a joke to me, because don't let this asshole come over like that. And then I know you're trying to play a game. It's not about picking a shirt. We can pick our shirt, take our clothes off if we want. So anyway, I go to the skipper's house, not that guy, but the old timer who I loved. And I used to sit with him for 2 hours, and hear him talk. I used to laugh and he'd tell you stories. You know how it is, right?
Yeah.
They told me to come there to say hello. And Bobby, I go and pick my younger daughter up, because I was always taking her from Staten Island to bring her back to Long Island. That was my weekend. But when I go, and you'll know what I'm talking about, when I go into this house, I see a bunch of guys crewed up in there. They don't know I'm coming with my little daughter, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also walking in there, Bobby. I don't have a dirty stomach. If you're guilty of doing something, you might not make an excuse not to go over there to this guy's house. You know what I mean? Like that, you know what I mean? So, but I go there. And when I walk in, I'm saying, wow, I didn't know, what are all these guys doing here, right? And he don't greet me, but when I sit down, he pushes his chair all the way close to me, and I move even a little closer, because I'm just innocent, and I put my, hey, Dom, hey, and he says to me, let me ask you a question, not hello, not kiss me, hello. Hey, let me ask you a question. You know what the rats are on my case? So I laughed, and I Dom, how, like, in other words, like, Dom, how you feeling? He's got oxygen and everything else. He was just on a bail. I said, Dom, how you feeling? Like, first, how you feeling, right? Yeah, I'm all right. Anyway, who, and he goes into that again. And so I laugh. I said, Dom, I got to tell you the truth. I know you got pinched. I heard it on the news or whatever it is. I don't even know what your charges are, let alone who the rats are in your case. What are you asking me for? And I'm innocently telling him that because that's the truth. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, he makes small talk and all of that, right? And anyway, I leave my daughter, and I never think anything bad. I don't think this is only after what I find out later. Thinking back, I'm saying to myself, what were they going to do if I don't come? Like, I come in there without my daughter, maybe I don't leave that house. Maybe they shoot me in my head. I sit there, you know what I mean? And the worst part is what comes out in the end. So from there, I just feel like something's wrong, but I don't know what it is. Yeah. And I just say, like, maybe, he's an old time. He was up there, maybe like 80 or 81. Maybe he's losing his mind a little bit. Oxygen. He asking me about the rats in his case. I don't know. I laughed it off.
Yeah.
His wife winds up passing away. I go to the wake. Now, you've been to wakes, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, these wakes, not only we're going to show respect to who it's for, we're meeting, we're gathering, we're doing business, we're talking about business. There's other guys from other crew, a whole, the God is there. Some other guys from other families there, and you get to see people and meet people, but everybody is always very friendly and respectful.
Yeah.
And plus, this is all our people. I walk into this wake, Bobby, like I had the plague. And I'm saying, what the fuck is, and I'm trying to think in my head, did I say something and maybe somebody took it as a disrespect? What the hell could I have done? I can't even figure out, like, why are they acting? Guys are saying hello, walking away from me and treating me like I got the plague.
Yeah.
And now I'm saying something's wrong, but I don't, once again, if your stomach is dirty, what are you going to say? Oh my God, they know they are onto something.
Right.
Nothing. I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to like say, did I maybe say something to somebody and they took it the wrong way, or maybe forgot to say hello to somebody? Like, I don't know what it is, but I know something's wrong. I leave that wake and the agents get a surveillance picture of me. I'm going to show it to you. And the agents get a surveillance picture of me, and you could, how to say, a picture tells 1,000 words. You could see that my face as I'm leaving that wake, that my head's down and my mind is going, like, I cannot figure out. And I feel horrible because, if I did something, and I'll tell you, if I did something, then I should have been in the street, laying in the street. That's the way it should leave me. That's the way the life was. But I couldn't understand what it was. So I now on myself right away. I go right away, get a pistol, and now I'm walking around on high alert because something's not right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to one of the closest guys I got very close to, that kind of was like jockeying for positions with me, because don't forget, we were transitioning, and not to brag, but I definitely would outshine him.
Yeah.
And his own crew would like favored me. He would remind me on a daily basis, he's with me, yeah, you don't have to keep telling me that. I know who they're with. His own guys loved me because I treated them as equals. Like, he looked down at them, which, some guys do. I treated them as equals, right? I go to him and I said, something's going on. And I got the pistol. I said, something's going on. I'm telling you. Whoa, why? What are you, crazy? I said, no. I'm telling you. I said, I'm going to tell you what. His name is Patty. I said, we met in a bar restaurant. I says, I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to put my head on this table. You go make calls. Let them go anywhere, because something's not right. Let them go reach out to anywhere in New York, Jersey, wherever they got to go, and let somebody come back here and say something about me or something that I did or anything. Blow my brains out at this table.